82% of team members feel misunderstood or undervalued. So this is exactly where I like to be, teaching, communicating, helping others, realizing their aspirations. I'm so excited about shattering the glittering image and uncovering the truth about you.
Welcome back to the Intrepid Impact Leadership Show here on YouTube. I'm your host, Jerry Howard, your business coach and your certified jail inspector. I'm excited today to tell you about an amazing guest that we have. His name is Mike King. He owns the Mike King Biz Network, and we're going to get into all the details about how he got there. But let me tell you a little bit about the background on Mike King. Mike is the voice of RVA Business Media. You can find him on ESPN Richmond Radio from 5 to 7 a.m., International Business Growth Radio at 10 a.m. on Saturday. His show, Mike King Biz and Friends, is seen Wednesday and Friday on TV on CW Richmond. He's an accredited business with the Better Business Bureau and the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year award winner this year. And he's the only daily show business, radio, TV in the market. So Mike, it's so good to have you here today. Welcome to the Intrepid Impact Leadership channel here on YouTube.
Jerry, thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here. What you're doing in the marketplace is outstanding. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Thanks so much. And viewers, if you don't know, Mike King, and I feel like I've said this or hinted at it in previous episodes, but Mike King is the one who got me started in media in the beginning. He is absolutely the most generous with the media industry that he has access to. And I started the Intrepid Impact Leadership Show on ESPN Richmond Radio 106.1, which is actually the same place that you can find his shows. And that is how we transgressed into the YouTube channel. So, again, I love telling folks that I got my start with the Mike King Biz Network.
Well, you know, with this setup right here, I've stepped up my game. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Well, we're glad to have you. And I thought we would start by just having you give some background to the viewers about not only yourself, but also the Mike King Biz Network.
All right, well, thank you. So, as Jerry said, my name is Mike King. The business is Mike King Biz, and it is founded on business can help society be better. That's what we do every day. We just use the platform of media to help that happen. There are a lot of businesses that are out in the marketplace who are really working to make business a better place and help society be better. So what we do is we give a platform to those organizations to be able to tell their stories. Last year, we donated 24,000 minutes of free airtime to nonprofits and business to just come and tell their story. And people wonder how it works is because I have sponsors and people who come along the journey with me who allow it to happen through sponsorships and advertising, so that most of the people come on, they just come on for free. And so that's what we do every day, Monday to Friday. We have people come on and tell their story so that they can get the message out there. I don't work for the radio stations or the TV station, so it gives me some leeway to kind of see and do kind of like what I see fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very excited when I had my show on there because I think one of the things you told me was, as long as you don't break any FCC rules, you can pretty much say and do whatever you want as long as you pay the bill.
Well, that's what it comes, and I learned that from my time on conservative radio. He says if it pays, it plays.
That's awesome.
I mean, the things that we talk about on ESPN, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, there was a mother whose daughter had gotten killed. We talked domestic violence. We talked about free mammograms for women. We talked about business for students. It goes across the board. But as long as I pay them to be there, there's nothing that they can say from an editorial content. So people come through the studio, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and folks, you know that if you heard him correctly, then you heard 24,000 minutes. So that's 3 zeros after the 24. To me, I mean, think about it. This YouTube channel is 30 minutes, and I'm producing it as well as hosting it, but there's an expense to that. And so if you can imagine what it would be like to try to buy 24,000 minutes and give it away, I mean, the generosity that you're projecting into the small business arena particularly is just incredible.
Well, and like I said, it's partnerships. I call myself the partnership guru.
Yeah.
And what that is people who see the vision. Sometimes they don't know. I wasn't always the Mike King Biz. I was just Mike, even coming to Richmond. I had always, my parents had owned their own business, but I didn't have a burning desire. I was a salesman after got out of the Army, and that's what I did. But all of a sudden you start to see, I could connect this person with that person. And next thing you know, they can go do whatever they're doing. That's in the rearview mirror. Just call me when something happens. But all of a sudden, those two made a connection, and then they're making magic happen. The only thing I want you to say is, hey, remember when Mike, I don't remember the connections that people made in the past. I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I just remember the people who've been there for me. And Jerry, where are we today? In the
Yeah, we are here at the Culture Mix Studio in Midlothian, Virginia, and that's one of the connections I was going to mention. Connected me with DB Arcade, Emmanuel Bazoa. He's the guy behind the camera that you guys never see, but produces this amazing show with his creative genius. And the Culture Mix Studio is right here in Midlothian, Virginia, and it is the place where all things creativity happen. And
it's a friend of mine, shout out to Philly, shout out to my friend Chef Michelle Wilson. There are people who know me as Mike King Biz. That's the new version. There's people, she knew me as Mike. And Mike King, that's who I was and that's who I am. But from a business standpoint, I'm sitting at her cafe just talking, shooting, just kind of hiding out. But it evolved into this Mike King Biz media thing because I understood how media worked, the power of the media. So it's also like the partnerships. Emmanuel, we've been together, 3 years. I did introduce myself to him. You see him more than I do. So, and the work that they guys do, I love when people get together and they make magic happen.
Yeah, I really love giving a shout out to DB Arcade, Emmanuel Pazoa, for not only the creativity that he puts into this show, but there's all manner of things, not only photography, creative design, it's enormous. But I got the connection from you because I was excited about the promo video you had. And I was like, how do I get me a promo video like that?
The one thing is, Emmanuel with DB Arcade, he's creative. He also is a taskmaster. I've run afoul of times with Emmanuel. Because this is what it needs to do to look good. The studio here, what you guys have put together, is amazing. So shout out to you as well as to Emmanuel. And here, so Culture Mix. If you guys need a studio to come and do something, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, and we've got 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers on our Intrepid Impact Insider newsletter, most of whom are in the local Richmond area. So again, if you're looking for studio, if you're looking for a place to create or bring to life the vision that you have, just like the Intrepid Impact Leadership Channel, this is the place to be.
This is the place to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're here with us, and I think we've already touched on it a little bit, but I'd love to hear more about what you're most passionate about.
The most passionate about is giving people opportunities as well as how business plays a part in society. And I joke to say whether a business can be straightforward, but when money happens, I say changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. It's not. Money got to change hands. And so that's a lot of times when certain things, nonprofits are there to do the things that need to be done in society that maybe the government can't do. So how do nonprofits do it? They do it on the strength of businesses supporting them. And the business really gets nothing out of it except for, I feel good, I did the right thing. So that's what we use the platform for every day. That's the part that I get the most excited about what the next thing is. Is this a struggle type thing? Because it's a new business model. For me, for a lot of people, they don't understand it. Like my wife is like, oh, you got a job where you pay them at the end of the week? Yeah, that's kind of like the way things work.
Spouses are challenging when that comes to that revenue.
Yeah, I remember it used to happen the other way. On Friday, money comes in. This way it goes out, but it gives me the ability to talk to a person and see. There are a lot of people who started in media when I would just be like, hey, just come to the studio and we're just talking. And then all of a sudden, whatever it is, you're able to elevate your brand because you see what it does for you. That you're on the radio, TV, the YouTube channel, you're using the power of the media to set yourself apart from everyone else. And I give people that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and a good point about that is I was recording the very first radio show, the inaugural radio show, and someone who you had invited to the studio to give a little promo about. Back then, I believe he was talking about the center that he oversees, but he was actually the board chair for the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce. Mark Bowen, as we know, shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark Bowen.
But I met him there, and he heard some of the content that I was talking about, got excited. Fast forward, I'm a speaker at their Business Solutions Summit.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was so fun, man. It was great. We had a wonderful number of people there, but we also had great participants in the audience, high-level people, great questions. And that's the kind of thing that the Mike King Biz brings to local people like myself and then other entrepreneurs.
It is, that is the magic of it happening. People come into the studio, and think about when we've been in studio, who comes in. We don't know. Sometimes people are stopping in, and all of a sudden it goes on the whole pay it forward model that Jerry Howard is, and I was the one saying you're the guy who is doing business and faith and where that intersects.
That's right.
We operate right there. And then all of a sudden you're meeting a person on a Thursday. It's a regular day for you. In your conversation, you just changed a person's life. And you didn't even realize it. It was just a regular day.
That's right.
But for them, that was something. You said something, so we try and bring people in, whoever's in there. I'm intentional about that. I said, come to the studio. I want you to meet my man, Jerry. And this is the reason why. And people are not shocked. They're like, I'm going to let you have airtime. You're going to pay something. You got to talk to that guy. And people understand it. And, I've been doing this at ESPN 2 years now. And before that, I was on conservative radio almost 2 years.
Yeah. Man, that's great. It's amazing the network that transpires so quickly too, because that's what got me plugged into the Chesterfield Chamber. And I've lived in Chesterfield County here in the Richmond area or southwest of Richmond for like 15 years now. I've been a business owner for 8 or 9 years as well. Never even really thought about the chamber, but I'd heard things. I've been to a couple of luncheons, this kind of thing. But when I was in your studio, that's when everything changed.
I knew, so shout out to Danielle Fitzhugh in the Chesterfield Chamber. It really took my business to another level.
Yeah.
Because when you get into a room, and I've done a number of things, whether it's Chamber, RVA, Synapse is a networking group, but the Chesterfield Chamber really gave me the exposure. All of a sudden, people started looking at me different as a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same reaction. In fact, I didn't spend a lot of time in chambers as a small business owner, but my viewers know that I used to run hospitals years ago. So before I got into small business ownership, I used to be a hospital administrator. And each hospital in a location has kind of a guy that's where the buck stops. Typically, that's the administrator. And in that role, you liaise with the public quite a bit. So we were always strongly encouraged to join the chamber. And so in these other localities, a couple close to Richmond, mostly spread out around Virginia, I was in these various chambers in Charlottesville, the Northern Neck, southeastern Virginia, all over the place. I didn't really care for the chamber, to be honest with you, because it was a thing that I did because I kind of had to, but it wasn't like this thing that was going to bring any notoriety. The Chesterfield County Chamber of Commerce is next level. It is, and it's, to be a member is, there's varying levels of membership, but it's I wouldn't say cheap. It's inexpensive.
And on top of that, there are a lot of people you can pay monthly, and it's not that expense. And Danielle always talks about what to get out of the chamber, what'd you give, what'd you put into it.
Yes.
Because they're going to be intentional about offering you opportunities to put your business in front of other people. So this year, from a sponsorship standpoint, I sponsored a newsletter. But I also like the legislative affairs thing because I come from the political thing. I like that, as well as Leadership Chesterfield.
Yes.
Those are things that put my name in front of the people and support the things that I care about.
Yeah.
But if you want to do business in Chesterfield, it is the reason Lego came to Chesterfield.
Yes.
It's because of the business community environment that it lands $1 billion deal.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I was going to bring up too. I'm glad you mentioned Lego, because that was the way. I didn't even know Lego was coming until the Mike King Biz. introduced it to me. So I think that not only that, but it creates a lot of brand awareness, not only for the chamber, but for your thing, but for other businesses that are in the area.
We always we're intentional about giving shout outs and making opportunities happen for other people. Mm-hmm. That's what they're, so the whole Richmond, the RVA area is kind of at a point now where there's a lot of activities happening. I live in Henrico. Tons of things happening in Henrico. But when people, Jack Berry from tourism always says, people don't come to Henrico. People don't come they come to Richmond, and they just call this whole thing Richmond. Mm-hmm. They don't know that the hotel was in Henrico. The thing they went to was in Chesterfield. They go downtown to Richmond, downtown to the restaurants. They just know when they came, they went to Richmond. Yeah. And there's a lot of business opportunities here, and you see that happening on a daily basis. So for Chesterfield Chamber, it's not just for big businesses, it's not for established businesses. There is a place there for you as a one-man, one-woman shop to really make a difference and have it impact your business.
That's right. In fact, our agency has 6 consultants in it now, but what I used to call the Jerry Show. It was just me at one point. And if it weren't for that strong community network, I wouldn't have attracted those other consultants.
Because you roll with a band of rock stars.
They are good.
Yeah.
They are good.
Yeah, and the cool part about that is I've met them through the show. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, who remembers Pastor Mark when we were dancing in the studio? He lowered the boom yeah.
That's right, and I've got him slated to come on in a few episodes from now. But
when you talk about the other things, we just had Brian, who was in this show a couple weeks ago, talking about your leader cast that's upcoming. Mm-hmm. We talked to the people who are on the ground making things happen.
Yeah.
Some you know about, others, like I said, are unsung heroes. They're making magic happen, and you don't know who they are until their thing happens.
Well, and I like what you do over at is it Faith and Love Church?
Faith and Love Church.
Yeah. So Tiger, what's Tiger's last name?
Why was I getting ready to say Tiger Woods?
Far from that. This guy, this is Minister Tiger Foot, yes, Foote. That's right. Yeah.
They built that church and that radio station there to be one of the top radio stations. It's a gospel station, but they're totally committed to the community. And think about the people who come through our world who came to that studio.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the Navy band there. Shout out to...
the Navy band. So this federal thing, this national thing band is right there.
Yeah, Mark Casper is in there. A bunch, so, he couldn't... one of your fellow Marines, so couldn't help himself. We had a good time. But what it did was it gave exposure to the Navy band to people that may not have seen or understood what Navy Week was.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's all coming. So, folks, the Mike King Biz. This is the thing that's doing it right here. I love it. And so, shifting gears a little bit, you've been in media a long time. I think
not really.
Were you? Did you say you were doing radio for a while?
Yeah, so I've done radio. I used to, when I got out the Army, I was working for AccuWeather, selling weather content about how weather impacted businesses. So I did a lot with newspapers, radio stations, where when you see it on TV, they bought that weather information from someone. So that was AccuWeather. So then I started to understand the power of the media. It was only when I got here that I came here with the Henrico Citizen show. Shout out to Tom Lapis and the Henrico Citizen. That is Henrico's hometown paper. I started to see, so go from there to the TV station, CW Richmond /NBC 12, selling advertising. Then I really started to see Bill Eastman was telling me, hey, would you help me with my radio show? Next thing you know, he says, hey, would you like to have a show? I didn't know, what am I going to talk about? Business. The idea that business helps society be better. Next thing you know, I'm down on WNTW in Chester with the business show.
That's great.
On conservative radio with all the political stuff, I was the business guy. Mm-hmm. And that just went from there to WJFN with John Fredericks to ESPN, still doing, it doesn't matter the format of the station, which concerns people sometimes. It still doesn't matter. I'm the guy doing business. Mm-hmm. And by paying, it allows me to talk about things that I want to talk about, not necessarily what the station is about. 90% of people who follow ESPN are men. 70% of the people who follow and engage with me are women. Mm. So there's no way that ESPN would be talking about, free mammogram for women, not so much domestic violence or minorities in business, unless it has a sports angle or unless it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and then they're all over it. But we're doing that on a regular basis, and all through it is the idea how business plays a part in it. A nonprofit is a business.
Yeah,
It's a business.
Absolutely. I'm on the faculty for a conference in Grand Rapids, Michigan called Speak Up. And a lot of the individuals that come there are writers and speakers in the faith community that want to be mission oriented, so they want to do a nonprofit type of thing. And the reason I bring it up is because I actually teach them that very concept. That is because years ago, one of my first jobs was I was the CEO for a continuing care retirement community, but it was actually a nonprofit, very large endowment. Board of directors. We had about it was kind of small in the CCRC sense of the word. It was only about 100 patients, about 100 staff. But the point is that I learned very quickly that nonprofit or otherwise, if you receive revenue, whether it's through fundraising or selling a service, and then you pay expenses, you are a business.
That's true.
And nonprofit leaders forget that.
And that's what nonprofits are also selling, a dream.
That's right.
They're the big ones that everyone knows. The other nonprofits, whether it's a church, whether it is for mental health, you name it, animal care, whatever it is, you're selling a dream. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to get people to buy into your dreams, buy your product, donate to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so in the end, that's what. So you have to let people know. I always say, someone never bought from someone they never heard of.
That's right.
People got to hear from you.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And so with your experience around in the media realm, what is your biggest aha? What's the biggest thing you've learned or you're excited about?
The brand, I guess that people know who the brand is. So our good friend down in Brunswick County, Alfreda Jarrett, had said a company, they were talking about doing business in Japan, and the company was wanting to do business in Brunswick County. And they said they heard about it from the Mike King Biz radio show. That was kind of like, wow.
So companies doing business in Japan but wants to do business in Brunswick.
In Brunswick.
Wow. And tell us a little what you know about Brunswick County, because I can surmise, but...
When we went down to Brunswick County, we did a business. So Brunswick County is 2.5 hours from Richmond. Mm-hmm. So we went there because we were connecting Brunswick to Richmond.
Yeah.
And so the step in between there is the Tri-Cities. There's a lot of opportunities here in Richmond. And there are opportunities in Brunswick, but a person wouldn't think. So we went there to highlight and promote businesses there. One of the things that helps is to have a leader with vision. And so people are like, so we go down to Brunswick, me, Barry Moore from the Better Business Bureau, we go down and we talk about what's happening in business down there, and we meet other leaders. Well, when the executive director, Alfreda Jarrett, she comes and she looks at how things are happening here. A company wants to do business from Japan. In the course of the conversation, the Mike King Biz radio show comes up. And they had seen her on that. I was like, okay. The one thing about media is it's not, a lot more people see and then take in what you're doing than comment and like and all those things. People see what you're doing. People see what you're doing and want to engage, even if they don't like or follow or anything.
Yeah.
That's the power of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love what you said, too, is business helps society be better. And as a business person who owns multiple for-profit entities, I believe the same thing, because not only do we give to charity, support nonprofits, support those causes that we care about, whether it's faith, whether even the SPCA, right? So we got the SPCA in Richmond. I don't think this is a secret because I know, but they have an $800,000 annual budget. I mean, that is support right there. That is not, it's not the largest nonprofit I've ever heard of course, but to be that robust and to care about animals is so when you think about caring for people and businesses helping society be better, gosh, it's just it's manifold right there.
It truly is. And so when we look at nonprofits, businesses trying to get you, it's always good to have a friend in the media.
Yes.
Because to buy airtime to get your word out, a lot of times is expensive. And trying to get earned, or we're having whatever, you just send it into the TV station, radio station, you send in a press release, they get those by the boatload.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something when you get on the horn, hey, can you, next thing you know, it happens. It's about how connections, small towns a lot of times are more connection based.
Yeah.
People have to give you the thumbs up to make things, and things happen then, quickly.
Well, and despite its size, Richmond's still small townish.
It's a small town.
It's very relational.
Yeah, I always joke that there's 18 people in Richmond.
It seems like
And there really is. It took me a good 5 years before people were like, oh, you're Mike King. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand is I wear my name on everything. Yeah, too.
I learned that from you.
Yeah.
I learned
People
that. I still don't have it on my suit jacket.
That's okay, you know. You got a show. So, you know,
yeah. I'll put it on there.
You have a show.
I did put my, thanks to Emmanuel Pizzoa, DB Arcade, we're going to give him a shout out again. My signature has now become part of my brand, so I'm definitely wearing it there. You know. You
got a signature here like that?
Yeah, we call background. So again, the hospitals, right? So in the hospital, most of the administrators, unless they appoint someone to do it that has what we call signing privileges, the administrators have to sign the invoices. So when you're new, you sign in your signature. Right, you know, like Jerry D. Howard Jr., the whole deal, and then it's then it's just your initials, and then it became J with a squiggle after it, and so the staff started bringing the invoices to me and would say, "Can you just put your J squiggle here?" And so Jerry's brand actually says J squiggle, which is just some comical nonsense that I made up.
So you're just J squiggle.
Just J squiggle. I don't want that to be my stage name, though. But yeah, it's the signature.
When you
Jay
get
Squiggle.
to a certain point, I mean, they're one names, you know, a Beyonce or Shakira,
J-Ho, right? I get
whatever. But when you just become J Squiggle, people will never forget it.
Well, but then you got to change it every year, according to in the music entertainment industry. Apparently, you have to change your name every year. Puff Daddy, P Diddy, I don't know.
I think all of that also helps with the branding, that you can be like the Commanders. They were going to change their name, but they became the Washington Football Club. And they were able to sell that gear. And then they changed it.
So the Jerry Howard Leadership Club is what we're going to be in the future. Is that what you're saying? Just like the football team?
You know what? It's a membership. It's an invite only.
Yeah.
To get there. You don't just accept anybody.
Correct. You're absolutely right. And we digress. I love it, though. I love it.
Clearly, you understand how I don't have a formatted show like this, which is...
No, and that's the thing. I want it to be open. So we're on the right track here. And for the viewers, too, if you ever get a chance to come on the show, just know, hey, we're just conversing, man. We're
yes.
just chilling. And so... I like to say Mike King is a local celebrity here, but it sounds like you're getting way beyond the local status. So what's the biggest challenge of being a celebrity, man?
It's not. It's a fear of dealing with people. I'm not that guy.
Really?
No. I can do this thing right here, asking a question, but over here, or when I have to go to a couple weeks ago at the Chesterfield Chamber dinner, I won an award. Yeah. And they called my name. I was kind of leery, so I went up on stage. I collected the award back off the stage. I didn't know that they wanted me to speak. Everyone else who won spoke.
Did they yelled at you, right? Speech.
No, because I was sitting down by the time they got to that point. I don't do that part.
That's
like the whole big networking meetings, one of the benefits of wearing my name on my shirt or my clothes as well as, you know who I am. So I don't have to go through the hi, my name is Mike. That's not for me. So I'm reluctant to do this thing. And another thing is I'm early morning till about 5 o'clock. A lot of things that happen in the evening, I'm not making it.
Now, are you still recording women speaking sports in the evening?
No.
No.
There was a struggle in the evening at 7 in the evening for me. That's not exactly the best time.
Yeah.
So now 7 in the morning, we can rock all day. But when it starts getting to be the evening, I start going down. So me making to a lot of evening functions, no.
I totally get that. So I have this so one of the things we teach at the Intrepid Impact Leadership team is know yourself to lead yourself. That's a great example of know yourself to lead yourself. I had to do the same thing because I'm what we call an introvert. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert as well. That's what he's describing, by the way, if you didn't know. And that just means that you don't recharge around people. You recharge typically alone. So if I'm going to do a thing at night, which like you said, a lot of things are at night, I've got to have that recharge time. So if you're listening in and you're not necessarily energized by people or outside activities and ideas, take some time to recharge before you go out so you can bring your best self.
There's a thing that it's gotten funny that a lot of times people see me and I don't know whether I know them and don't remember them or I've never met them. It's gotten kind of awkward, which is, do I know you? Mm-hmm. Because people see me and they're like, oh, Mike King is at everything and he talks to everyone. I give a platform and people come to the station and they see me talking to a good number of people. But going to a networking event, to this day, I'm like, I stand outside and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Showtime.
It's showtime.
I actually say that to myself too. And so if you're out there and you're wondering why you get that little twinge of anxiety before the event or whatever it is, it's completely normal. It's just part of how you are. And there's ways to overcome that. And you have done certainly an amazing job. I love that you create a platform for others that allows you to help while simultaneously, of course, helping yourself.
And this showtime has to have a definitive time frame.
Yeah.
This can't run overtime or extra innings. No, this has to be, and I can help you, and then I can leave. And you can work your magic because I saw you have what it takes. I just need to get you into the room.
That's right.
And then after that, I can leave and do my thing. And then I'll see you the next time, like, how did it work out? Good. And what happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I love that too because I never really liked how I looked or sounded on camera or video or any of that. But when you gave me the opportunity to be on the radio and talk about what we do and how we help people, that got me kind of out of my shell a little bit. And now, I mean, it's fine. I love doing this, and I feel like we do a great job. Hopefully you love the show.
You see the impact that it has. Yeah. Radio is one thing, but when people see the video that it does, and you're reaching people so that you're making it having an impact, that's the name of it. The impact that it has on people looking at a video,
yeah.
It's the coolest thing.
It is.
Because all of a sudden people are like, oh, wow, that's what Jerry does. And it's not just Jerry. Jerry has a crew who can change people's lives. You guys are going to have something big. A lot of times, how do you put on big things? You roll with people who can put on big things.
That's right.
You think about people who think big, but you act small. I don't need to be the guy that everybody knows. I don't. But you know what? You need to. My dad always said, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Ooh, that's good.
You can know a lot of people, but if they look at you like, hey.
Yep.
Who's that guy?
Yep. That's good advice, too. If you're out there in the community and you've heard the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know, I like that a lot better. In fact, that's the key right there. It's who knows you. So if you're building a business or if you're building your influence, keep in mind, it's not about who you know, it's who knows you. That's excellent guidance, and that's probably fits right into one of my final questions was just what kind of parting words of encouragement do you have for viewers? Anything to add?
Keep going, no matter what it looks like. It's just going on to the next day, Everyone does not need, this is an older version of Mike. This is the 63-year-old version. You might need to work somewhere to learn some rules before you get to this part and you're able to come and go willy-nilly as you feel. Mm-hmm. You might need to put in some time and learn systems and meet people along the way so that when you're ready to do your own thing, you can draw on that. And also, keep people around. I got people that I call at 5:30 in the morning. Shout out, Chef. Shout out, Chef Michelle. Hey, I got this thing. What about this? The person's been down that road already. Yeah. Or it's, Tom Childrey says, you don't need to know every chapter. You're on chapter 4. There's somebody who's been on, they're chapter 10. It's not what you need to do. It's who you need to contact and connect with, who can help you get there. So that's it. Know powerful people, know the people who can help you, and also give people opportunities. That's kind of like the idea and parting words.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too, because I really agree. I actually tell my kids the same thing. It's if you've got a vision or an idea or a business model or whatever, look around and first of all, if you're passionate about a thing, before you start a business or spend a lot of resources on that, and you're trying to, if you want to create a hobby for yourself, that's great. But if you really want to create a business, see if the market is passionate about what you're passionate about. If they are, then of course there's opportunity there. And then, but especially if you're younger, if you don't have a lot of experience in the marketplace and you've got a dream, go out there and connect with people that have done it before, whether it's get a job and work in that industry, or whether it's just partnering up with others that have done that. So I love that advice. That's great. And last question really is, how can people find Mike King Biz?
You can follow me on social platforms on the Mike with Mike RVA, on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well. It's Mike King Biz. You can hear me on the radio 5 to 7 a.m. every Monday through Friday on ESPN Richmond 106.1. International Business Growth Radio, that is Saturday 10 a.m. in the East. LinkedIn is kind of like the place where I make hay, because that's a place where people see, in a business platform, people see what I do, who I talk to, and what impact it's having. We're back to the impact thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Awesome. Well, Mike, it's been great having you here. Folks, this is another episode of the Intrepid Impact Leadership Show here on YouTube. A couple of things that I want you to remember at the end there is we've got business helps society be better. I can't repeat that enough. And the Mike King Biz brought that to us today. Think about social platforms. Think about what he said about keep going. Keep going, because so many people give up before they get to the point where they might actually make an impact. And then keep those people around. So if you've got an idea, talk to people about it. Now, make sure you protect who you're talking to. You want to talk to people that can fill your idea with positive encouragement, wise words, that kind of thing. Don't talk to just your beer drinking buddies who are just going to put it down, crabs in a bucket thing. So Mike King, it's been great having you here. This is another Intrepid Impact Leadership Show here on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and we see you next time.
82% of team members feel misunderstood or undervalued. So this is exactly where I like to be, teaching, communicating, helping others, realizing their aspirations. I'm so excited about shattering the glittering image and uncovering the truth about you.